All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back here to part 2 of the Daily Quest number 37, where we're taking a look at ETC styles. Now, I got a bunch of replays, and I gathered them all up, and I made a folder, and I named them incorrectly. There's some very similar games that happened in these matches, like the same exact map, where we saw almost identical styles of ETC with a few talents swapped out. And that's actually just really good, right? That just means that ETC has a variety of talents that work out in different situations. And we're seeing hybrid builds. Some builds are a little bit more about landing those big stuns and getting the guaranteed mosh pit at the end. But other builds were a little bit more focused on making sure that ETC is very hard to eliminate, very hard to lock down and kill himself. A little bit more on the tank side. And if I'm not mistaken, this build we're going to watch from King Caffeine is the ultimate mobility. Like, it's not about getting those big, bad power slides. It's about being impossible to lock down. So we're loading up the replay here. It's on Tomb of the Spider Queen. And King Caffeine plays, a pretty good warrior. In a lot of senses, a lot of people call him the best warrior in America. He has been called the best warrior in the world, and that's because he really knows his limits. He knows how to get away with, well, just about anything. So on the left side, we have Cloud9 with Kael'thas, ETC, Jaina, Asmodan, and Dunk Train playing as Morales. And then on the right side, it's going to be Zagara, Johanna, Tyrande, Vala, and Zeratul. We got tunes on? Give me tunes, Blizzard. Give me tunes. We, at the end of part 1 of this episode, we failed miserably at the leave game, where you just have to click leave game. It is so hard. Cloud9, all representing their Cloud9 mounts. Sitting on those, we have K1 Pro, Dunk Train, King Calf, Arth, and Dream, and ETC level 1. What is he going to go for? What is he going for? Deep Chill? Standard stuff. Taste for Blood, Globe build. It's going to be that farm status. We do see Mana Addict and ETC. Does he go for the power slide? No, he's going for Prog Rock. So he's going to spec into groupies. Very similar to that last game. Wants to have that additional heal. Cav just going to power slide away Gravity Lapse just for the safety of ETC to skip away from that. And we see those big heals of Medic. Easily the top healer in the game when it comes to just sheer capability of healing. Now a lot of action in the middle of the map, and we do see the damage going down with the Globe and the Blizzard, just getting those stacks for Asmodan. It's all about farming up that Globe of Annihilation. This is one of the best battlegrounds in the game for farming up the Globe of Annihilation and Asmodan, just because of how quickly and how easy it is for Asmo to soak the 2 lanes. And you don't have to last hit the minions. A lot of people don't realize that you can, if you kill a minion within about a second, a little bit less, I believe, after the Globe of Annihilation hits it, it will still count as a stack for the Taste for Blood ability. Just throwing out that grenade, Psalm actually ends up dashing forward, and already Arthlon is really starting to get that farm on. We can look at his farm. He's at 28, only 1 minute into this game. Try doing that yourself. It's not the easiest thing in the world. He's probably one of the most seasoned players in the game at farming up this Globe of Annihilation. Already moving up to 36. Anyways, looking at the bottom lane is Zagara versus Kael'thas. Honestly, Zagara is a very good laner, but Kael'thas has so much safe damage in the early game, and if Zagara is to be locked down by the Gravity Lapse and takes a full combo of the Living Bomb and the Flame Strike, it is a ton of damage. So iDream definitely going to be A-okay in this bottom lane, throwing down a Flame Strike just to try to keep that creep spread at a minimum, denying him the safety of potential rotations that come down. But it looks like Zeratul is going to be the one that rotates down. Psalm can just blink over this wall. If Dream is not safe, the Hydra does a bit of damage. Psalm in position. Does he go for it? Yeah, he thought about it, but I think Dream got eyes on, backed away. Minions are here, and he's going to be safe for the time being. Looks like Dunk just wants to heal off Dream, so Dream can just be A-okay and safe, and we have ETC going forward. Power slide towards Michael Udall, not quite connecting. Globe Annihilation goes down, and that will be several more stacks there for Arthlon, continuing to get those Taste for Blood stacks. Oh, a big Lunar Flare onto King Caffeine. The shield comes out from Dunk, and Dunk is always ready with the rotations, keeping ETC alive, and Cloud9 has not lost anyone yet. Experience just about dead even. The thing is, though, this is kind of a weak early game for Cloud9. They've got that Asmodan. Asmodan's about getting the farm. He's not about, getting the rotations. It's not about getting the kills. It's about getting that huge late game power Jaina actually spec'd for Snowstorm. This could be a Blizzard Flame Strike Globe of Annihilation style. This is not a thing of myth. It's a real thing. You can just bombard the enemy team from afar with those 3 massive AoE abilities, and it hurts. And also, it's very easy to get the farm on the Asmodan with those abilities. But we do see K1 Pro getting those fat heals from Medic, all the sustain from the shield coming out as well, and they're able to survive through the big onslaught of damage that came forward with that initiation of Lunar Flare. 25 gems sitting on King Caffeine, but they're still just worried about not only picking up the gems, but picking up the Globe of Annihilation Sex. Asmodan's probably around 100 at this point. 84. Absolutely ridiculous farm here for our Asmodan player. ETC just continuing to be an escort, making sure everyone's safe. His entire role is to allow them to safely farm in these rotations. Make sure that there is all the peel in the world that's needed. He's not a rotation hero at this point. He's a defensive rotation hero. So it's working out very well for Cloud9 so far. They have just been playing very safe and keeping the creep spread at bay. iDream very adamant about doing that, and 18 gems have been turned in so far. Big impact. Will dodge the gravity lapse, nicely done. Throwing out the Hydralisk and the autos will be able to do a ton of damage to iDream right here, but not quite enough for the kill. That Hydra barely not making it over the wall. Sentinel thrown out, but it will not connect. Psalm trying to disrupt King Caffeine, not able to do so. Dunk Train with a beautiful peel, throwing out the grenade, and we do have the first Web Weavers of the game here for Cloud9. Okay, they're spawning in just a moment, getting a bit of a talent update. Hammer on. Rockstar lasts 2 seconds longer while Rockstar is active. It activates your abilities. Rockstar is active. Your abilities cost 10 less mana. So this is actually just, a utility. This is an ETC that wants to spam abilities. This is an ETC that wants the additional duration from Rockstar. And it's the first time we've seen that used today. We'll see how it pans out, what kind of differences that makes when you go for that ability. I don't know how common that talent is on players outside of King Caffeine, to be honest with you. Mid lane, we do see Zeratul rotating up on K1 Pro with a power slide, trying to peel, but K1 Pro will fall to that multi-shot of Michael Udall on Vala. And B-Kid with the zone of Johanna, but the Web Weavers are doing a lot of damage regardless. Losing Jaina is not ideal, but we will have a ton of structural damage done from this Web Weaver phase regardless. Zagara should be able to defend bottom. Zeratul just got eyes on iDream rotating, so they're well aware of his position down here, but he does not have confidence in actually trying to go for that 2v1 in bottom versus Kael'thas. Kael'thas was going to get a lot of damage in turn. King Caffeine soaking up a lot. Oh, Dunk Train just knows where to throw that grenade, stopping the mount there of Zeratul. And this bottom Web Weaver not going to get any of the towers down, but oh man, that huge Globe of Annihilation coming down, getting even more stacks there. Asmodan already up to what at this point? 144 bonus damage. Soon he'll have Blackpool. Those globes are really going to hurt by the 15-minute marker. Like, they're going to be hitting for an insane amount of damage once we get into the mid to late game. Big impact, looking for the turn in. He's got some nice creep spread here. Just giving eyes on for the team. They do need, he has 15 gems, and that's exactly what they need. So he would love to get that, but he knows the risk. Zagara's not a hero with a ton of mobility. The creep spread helps, but he's just going to try to work on defending that General of Hell. Now, he threw the Hydralisk down on the General of Hell, denying it its aura on the minions. Very good thing to do. Dream has to rotate back. Singularity Spike was used. Zeratul going forward. Zeratul actually picked up Vorpal Blade, and that's just like a nice re-engage. If you go Vorpal Blade, you don't really have to go for the Wormhole at level 13, and it's just a nice option here for Zeratul players in the current meta. All right, G-Laps over the wall, not connecting Dream, taking a lot of damage, just going to back on up. But Dunk Train does have those heals, and the Web Weavers were successfully summoned here by the red team. Arthalon pushing forward, going to throw out those auto attacks. Psalm pushing in. K1 Pro is very low, and they will get the kill. Very nicely done by Michael Udall and Psalm, and they're going to throw out a Lunar Flare, but it was juked by King Caffeine at the last moment. We see how hard those globes are already starting to hit Arthalon. Generally only farms for the first chunks of the game, but he's willing to throw it at the enemies because it already has about 150 bonus damage there on that Globe of Annihilation, and that is going to hit pretty darn hard. Defending the top web rather effectively, but level 10 will be picked up first by the red side, and blue team just needs to fall back. Lunar Flare connecting on iDream. We see the Hunter's Mark was used, and it's enough for the kill. Psalm goes forward, Michael Udall vaulting forward, and they pick him off. This bottom lane is going to take heavy damage. Cloud9 desperately needs to get their level 10 heroic abilities, but they're a little bit behind when it comes to experience at this point in time. B-Kid just kind of poking around, waiting for a potential moment. He wants to soak this lane the best he can, but once the Web Weaver falls, he's just going to back away, and the team is rotating up. Shadowstalk used. King Caffeine hit by the Blessed Shield. Lunar Flare follow up with the Condemn, immediately blowing him up, even with the Power Slide, not able to get out of that beautiful combo. With just a single VP denying this keep and the one hero in it, Jaina, their approach forward, and it's just going to be used to retreat. Still no level 10 for Cloud9. They're finally getting their heroic abilities. Great engage here. Just throwing that Blessed Shield down, the follow-up with the Lunar Flare Hunter's Mark, picking off King Caffeine. Very, very nicely done. All right, we do see these Night Camp. The Night Camp is being picked up rather quickly. They've got the Roaches, they've got the Hydra, and they will have themselves a little bit of additional presence here for a short while, but of course that camp's rather easy to clean up, especially when you consider that there's Phoenix, we've got Fission Bomb here for the Chain Bomb, Blizzard has Snowstorm, that's a lot of AoE damage, and then Globe with Black Pool. Asmoden's going to get farmed much more quickly at this point in time due to that Black Pool, and we'll see exactly how well it works out. Mid lane, these Bruisers are marching forward, and the Globe goes out, and they're just going to clean this up like it's nothing. What do we say? I mean, it doesn't even matter. They're just going to be cannon fodder. But Cloud9 did put their entire presence here in the mid lane instead of controlling these turn-in points, and we do see a good number of gems being turned, and Michael Udall even getting those next 15 in, 33 so far turned in. So that's actually really quite nice. King Caffeine trying to collect those 3, does successfully do so. And with the heals of Medic, it doesn't even look like he got hit, but they just can see their positioning. Another turn in here, and another summon of Web Weavers. Those globes on their own are enough to take out waves of minions from across the map, it looks like. So that is absolutely phenomenal. Arth is just getting more and more fed this game, up to 242. It's only not even 10 minutes in having that much farm, so that is actually just disgusting. It's paired with Blackpool, it's going to hurt quite a bit. Now, ETC, he's got that mosh pit. He can make those big plays happen. And when you've got all this huge backline, you're going to look for those mosh pits, but you're going to look for them cautiously. You just want to wait because there is a fair amount of disengage. You've got Lunar Flare to worry about. You've got Condemn. You've got Blessed Shield to worry about. All things that can stop it, and even Maw. So it's going to be very hard to land those big mosh pits, and he has to use it rather reserved. King Caffeine pushing forward. Saw him with a 2-man mosh pit, but ETC pushes on forward, gets the mosh. Not quite an AKA face, but they do manage to blow up ETC rather quickly as 2 targets were stuck in the maw. A little bit too aggressive. The good thing here for Cloud9 is they do have all that AoE damage. Arthlon even getting the farm during this big battle on that whole group of minions, knowing that he wants to just empower that globe. It's all about the late game for Cloud9, but without ETC, they can't really push forward too effectively. Middle fort has fallen, bottom fort has been down for a while, and Web Weavers are already on this back wall, and this top fort is completely vulnerable, so they can just push on forward as they have eyes on 3 members here in the bottom lane. They're just going to push in lightly, realizing it's a little bit risky. King Caffeine is already en route to push this all back. And how many gems do we have here? So Cloud9, they have quite a bit. Wow, a lot of gems on the board in general. I'm not going to try to math it. The boss was leashed, but will this pay off? Psalm's got that VP down for another 40 seconds, so I don't think it's a good idea to really look for a huge engage on the boss like that. It's just going to be very, very dangerous without that huge heroic. Blessed Shield just came off cooldown, so it's a little bit easier for them to look for a fight. Asmodent has been continuing to farm. Now, they're well aware that if Asmo gets too farmed up, that the late game is just going to be so very hard. Heroes like Zeratul, Tyrande, Vala, they don't have very big health pools. And when a big Globe of Annihilation hits your team, I mean, look at Michael Udall's health. That's not even a full power globe. This is not even supposed to be an Asmodent daily quest, but it basically is turning into an Asmodent daily quest because he's at 324 bonus damage, and I mean that thing just hits like a truck. Like Arthlon is just known for that here. Shadowstalk used, B-Kid in the front line. Psalm gets a 2-man Void Prison. The rotation from Arthlon is needed. He's gonna land a big Maw just on Dunk Train. That's the support locked down. They need to be there for the save, but no, Dunk is just locked in place. King Caffeine cannot save him, and they just back on away, sacrificing that one hero. K1 Pro trying to mount up, able to do so. I mean, sometimes people will always be looking for these Maws in the entire team, the whole team. They're like, oh man, I just want to maw 3 to 4 people so I look like a badass. But no, if you find their healer out of position and you can maw their healer, sometimes that's all it takes. They had exactly what they needed, a medic that was too far forward, and that would just turned into a beautiful kill, which means map control. It means they've almost got another turn in, and you know, everything is looking great. Dunk Train just now respawning, still pretty far away. Power Slide had to be used. He's going in with the dropship. The Condemn already used. Wow, the blow up there from afar. I don't even know what I just watched, but we're gonna watch that instant replay action because I wish I could put this game in slow-mo. I've actually requested to Blizzard that we have slow-mo. So look at the health bars. Everyone's at full health. AKA Face has like a little bit of damage taken. Positioning here. Kael'thas and Azmodan. Rotating from above. Cameron Pro right here. Clumped up. Kael'thas, you see he's casting an ability. He throws out a Phoenix. Arthlon coming over the wall. Cameron Pro not hit by the Lunar Flare. And bam. Phoenix thrown in. We see the Black Pool is being put down. The Flame Strike is being cast right here and deleted. Just absolutely and utterly deleted. Valla and Zeratul, we talked about their health pools. They couldn't even respond. They just died. It doesn't matter. They were over the wall, but they're dead. Oh, look at that. Almost got Tyrande, and he's not even at max power yet. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like you all to give a warm welcome to Maybe the cat. She just crawled up here. She's been sniffing my armpit. I don't know why. She's a weird cat, and now she's living on my lap. All right, well, middle lane, Arthlon is getting his turn in. The dream of 31 gems is real, and they will all be turned in. Only 3, actually, so 28 still in his pockets. Feels bad, man. And he's just going to start working on cleaning up the creep spread. Cloud9, now that they've reached their late game, sure, they might be down in terms of the race to level 16, but these Web Weavers will very easily help them change that. They can push down these towers rather effectively. There goes the mid fort. Bottom fort is completely pushed out with minions and Web Weavers right behind it. Top lane, that's where the Cloud9 is siege top. Look at that huge Globe of Annihilation. ETC goes forward. The Gravity Lapse was a little bit late there after the power slide of ETC, so they didn't get the kill on Zeratul, but they still forced them back. It's going to be the top fort falling, the bottom fort falling. The Web Weavers in mid will be cleaned up rather quickly, but the other Web Weavers will need some responding to. Dream went back to base to just kind of get ready for battle. Cloud9's just going to fall back, regain their composure, and look for a team fight. They have level 16 heroics. ETC went for speed metal with Showstopper. So this is the, like, it's just full utility. And even with Progrock, he didn't go for groupie. He's more worried about keeping himself alive. So level 13, he's going for Showstopper. Reduce all damage taken. This is just kind of like, as you power slide in, you're expecting an onslaught of damage, and that there's a huge window. You have a 4-second window where you're going to take reduced damage. That's huge. That's just huge. It's the opposite of Hunter's Mark. You power slide in or out, and you take less damage. Massive ability here for ETC. Makes him very, very tanky. Mid lane being pushed out heavily. The Phoenix has been cast. We do have K1 Pro trying to flank up top. Now, B-Kid, ooh, we see the globe coming out. Not quite connecting on B-Kid, but we do have the Azmodan sitting at a total of... That's not Azmodan. Azmodan. Yes. 420 esports boys there for Azmodan, so he's gonna hit pretty hard. This cat is sitting patiently on my lap. She's so happy. I'm gonna make a cat show. Globe going out, doing a lot of damage and empowering it even further, and there isn't even that little general spawned from it. Battleborn, not the most common talent, but you know, if you like your globes, then you throw demons with it, because that demon could spell death. We see Tyrande fall very quickly. Flame Strike going out onto Johanna. King Caffeine, you got that power slide, bro? Yes, go forth. Oh my goodness, but the VP is too strong. 3 targets locked down, allowing B-Kid to live and tap the well. Flame Strike goes out, not quite connecting, just a moment shy. Progrock getting those fat heals for King Caffeine, and the globe going out once again. That Globe of Annihilation almost at max power. Psalm, rotating, does not have VPs, looking for anyone low, but guess what? Medic kills everyone constantly. She has infinite mana. She heals infinitely well, and you're not going to find anyone low. What you're gonna find low is the rest of your team if they get hit by a Globe of Annihilation. But no, it's going for the minions. Farming. Bottom keep getting low itself. Psalm has just been very patient, waiting for someone to be out of position. Arthlon will walk right by him. Eyes on. He has to blink back to safety. All right, Globe going out. Gonna finish off this fort with that little minion, the Battleborn minion. Can he do it? Oh, no. Yes, the other guy got it. Sweet job, minions. It took out the first keep of the game. Bruisers have been pushing up the middle lane, so that's one nice thing here going. But they've really got to reclaim it. Asmo just about at max power at this point in time. 468 bonus damage ETC. Level 20 will likely go for Bolt of the Storm to just have that max mobility, max presence here in these team fights. And red team has summoned Web Weavers, so they do have that going. The Sentinel will pass through iDream's face, but he's got that healing from the well that he just tapped. It doesn't even really matter. He just kind of wanted to taste some Hedwig flesh. And Psalm looking for the ambush. Now Void Prison 2 seconds away. All heroics available. Psalm has made the big VP plays already. Can he do it again? Esports Phoenix going off onto the mid Web Weaver. Very passive posture here. Flame Strike and Globe for the defense. Everyone is just being very safe. Owls are flying left and right. Giant fireballs flying in the opposite direction. I don't know what kind of game pins fireballs versus owls, but I like it. It's a game called Heroes of the Storm. Globe going out. Killing more minions. Top fort has finally fallen. Full level advantage for Cloud9, the blue side. But the Web Weavers continue to march. Bottom lane was completely pushed out, so this Web Weaver really isn't doing anything other than buying them space. But these catapults have been great to just deny them all of that potential push out that the Web Weavers really do like to offer. We do see this guy will fall from the Globe and Blizzard. Just a few more pokes. Boom, bam, bam. And he is out. And let's take a look at the gem count. Still a lot in the tanks for both teams. Like how this is opposite of what this is. This is blue then red. This is red then blue. I like it too. Great design. A reprieve, boys. All right, King Caffeine. He's just waiting patiently. Flame Strikes out. Scouting Flame Strikes. Arthalon caught out of position and is blown up. But they trade out. Now, the Mosh Pit was used, but immediately Void Prisoned. So we could see a Sentinel coming out, but he's able to pop that Iron Skin, and B-Kid just walks right through that dance. He says, I'm too school for those high school dances, and he just walks away. B-Kid gonna have to try to get away, but the Power Slide is there. Hunter's Mark onto King Caffeine, but it's not quite enough. And Cloud9 takes a 2-for-1 after losing Arthalon in a very, very nice a collapse that they had in the top lane. 35 gems already turned in here on the blue side. They have a bunch in the take. 16, 6, and 7. Math is hard. That's something like 29. And yes, they're going to turn those in. Lunar Flare going out onto King Caffeine. Wow, actually using the grenade to remove that creep tumor. Very uncommon to see medics do that. Sentinel, once again, connecting on K1 Pro. He just loves to eat owl flesh, and he's been doing that consistently throughout this game. But we do have the blue team spawning some Web Weavers on their side. Looks like Medic went back to get full health. That Medivac will be used. Arthalon getting on into it. He went back there for his teammate. How cute is that? And they're just going to fly right on out. Asmodan is kind of a fatty, and he does need a lift. So that is very kind of Dunk Train to do that. All right, well, Web Weavers have made their way down to the halfway point in the map. They're all a little bit staggered, but not to the point where it's really going to negate their effectiveness. Bottom lane doesn't have its keep already with the catapults and Web Weavers. That's a huge threat. Wall falling to the blast of the Web Weavers. I don't actually know what it's called. We're going to call it Purple Farts, and Gravity Lapse has been cast on B-Kid. Just a bit of damage being thrown in there with that Living Bomb. Mid keep is sieged up. Top keep. Wall is taking a lot of damage as well. Zeratul looking for that VP flank, but they're always staying, pretty spread out. You're never seeing Cloud9 clump up too much. They've just got this nice little, I don't even know, star formation. It's not a star, but as soon as they clump up, Zeratul goes in. He gets a 2-man VP. iDream off to the side, looking for Michael Udall, but misses the flame strike. Has to use that Arcane Barrier to try to stay alive. Nice Gravity Lapse to buy some space for him, but Medic needs to back on up. K1 Pro bolting to safety. The Strafe is doing a lot. King Caffeine has to bolt him well as well. The Sentinel just connects on K1 Pro. He loves the Owl Flesh, and the Globes hit so very hard. The burst was the advantage for our red side, but the blue team survived through the onslaught of damage, and they have the big long range burst in themselves. They can now find those clumped up targets. Vala does go down. Psalm looking to rotate in the backside, but I think this is too risky. It's just an act of desperation. Tyrande goes down. There goes Zeratul. B-Kid caught in the dance. Big impact. Has to run away. They're just saying GG because the core is down. And I don't think there's a single talent on this ETC build that amplifies his ability to stun you We have Prog Rock for sustain, Hammer On for the increased duration on Rockstar, but it also makes you more mana efficient. He always had mana. Just keep rocking. You've got the reduced duration and all the stuns and slows. Of course, Mosh Pit, Showstopper, reduced damage taken. The Anti-Hunter's Mark. He goes in 4 seconds of like, man, I don't give a shit. And then we have Speed Metal for all the movement speed. It's just full on, fluidity, boys. This ETC is just going to be rolling around. He's like water. Pretty cool stuff. Pretty cool stuff. Pretty cool stuff. Geez. Lot of ETC play in tournaments as of late, and we see variance in builds in almost every game. It's so uncommon to see the exact build game after game after game. There's always a bit of difference in ETC styles, and it's just really, really nice design in general by Blizzard with this hero. Like, especially in the stun meta, like, he's got the tanking abilities, he's got the reduced lockdown abilities, he's also got the amplified lockdown that you can get. The obviously, if you're not necessarily a pro player, if you're new to ETC and you're just trying him out, I suggest this top build. That's why we put it here on the left side, the crowd control ETC. I'd say this is probably the easiest to execute style of ETC. It probably has the best control for just keeping your team safe and peeling for your team. And when you play ETC, generally speaking, you want to be peeling for your team. If you're really confident and you're playing with a buddy and you've got like a stun partner that's playing Tyrande or Kael'thas or something, and you want to look for the rotations, do it. He's a great hero for that style of play, but he's also phenomenal at peeling. And when you go for the upgrades on Power Slide at level 1 and level 4, it makes it so much more easy to land your big mosh pits, and a lot of the times that can just win games, especially late game. You hit that big mosh pit and you follow that up with some living bombs and just the massive damage of some of your assassins, it can just flat out win a game. Definitely the easiest style to execute with ETC, but obviously in the 3 games that we cast today, we saw a lot of variations. The slip and slide ETC is what we just saw in this last game out of King Caffeine. That's a little bit more about knowing your limits, like being in there, being in the face of your enemy as long as possible, sustaining damage, knowing the cooldown duration of something like Showstopper. Showstopper's 4 seconds after your Power Slide. 4 seconds of I can take a lot more damage than normal. And getting used to the flow of something like Showstopper and just keep rocking, it takes a little bit more practice. So start with crowd control ETC if you're a new player, and then evolve into some of the more variations that exist. Maybe you want to go for Spell Shield in some of these games. Like, we didn't see that today, but it might fit your playstyle. It might fit the compositions of that game where it has the viability of being the correct pick in that game. This has been the Daily Quest number 37, and tomorrow is number 38. In episode 38, I will be casting Wonky Wednesday Sylvanas replays, which means I have challenged you guys to play Sylvanas and use the heroic possession and push and feed if you have to. Just push as hard as you humanly can, and I will see exactly how good or bad that heroic is. I have not seen it in many, many months, and as metas change, sometimes things become viable. I'm not claiming I think possession is a good ability. It's called Wonky Wednesday for a reason. But you can submit those replays to solidjiggg@gmail.com. Thursday, we'll be taking a look at Valla and the variations that we see in Valla play. And on Friday, we will be doing EduCast. We'll be commentating randomly submitted games and then just having a good old time. Thanks for tuning into the Daily Quest, number 37. Catch you later.